listening to Rated RX. Your dose for the day.
There are people injecting a drug that isn't FDA approved, doesn't have a verified supply chain, and technically shouldn't even be for sale. And they're doing it intentionally, not because they're reckless, not because they're uninformed. They're doing it because they've watched hours of PhDs and MDs break down the science on YouTube. They've been reading the clinical trial protocols themselves, and they decided they didn't want to wait for it. This isn't TikTok hype. It's impatience powered by expertise. Today, we're talking about retatrutide, one of the most promising weight loss drugs in development, and the dangerous line between understanding the science and bypassing the system designed to keep people safe. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm Xavier Hill. I'm a clinical pharmacist. I'm here with Sam Lona and Rabia Bassi. And this episode today doesn't come from a viral clip. Isn't from like any influencer things that we've seen online. It came from somewhere quieter and a little bit more concerning to me. Over the last few weeks and months, I've noticed conversations happening in a very small circle on Twitter. On Twitter, I'm seeing these very seem to be educated people have been doing a lot of deep digging into YouTube and private forums, and these people have created a thread recommending medication to some people. So these people are hardcore into peptides and peptide science. So they're mostly, like I said, direct learning from like YouTube, MDs, scientists, and PhDs that they find who are discussing peptides and clinical trials. And sometimes they're even self-experimenting on themselves. So they're watching these people do this and they're learning from them. But the drug that I keep seeing them use is called retatrutide. Retatrutide is a future medication. It has not yet been FDA approved, but these people are actively trying to obtain the medication before it's FDA approved. So before we go any further, I wanted to put out an important disclaimer. Investigational drugs should only be used within regulated clinical trials under medical supervision. Purchasing or using investigational drugs outside of these trials can carry real medical and maybe sometimes legal risk. This is the Rated RX podcast, affiliate of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. Today we're going to break down like the promise, the temptation, and the real risk of using an investigational drug before approval. And we're going to use retatrutide in this case study. So most people already know about the GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy. They reduce the appetite, they slow gastric emptying, and then later, other drugs were developed for weight loss, like the Mounjaro and Zepbound. These are kind of your dual agonist medications. They target GLP-1 and GIP, and weight loss outcomes are even a little bit better with those. But retatrutide, the new medication that some companies are studying now, it actually takes it one step further. It's a triple agonist that works on GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon. So glucagon is a molecule in the body that increases energy expenditure, meaning it does not reduce intake, it also increases the burn. So that's why many researchers are also using this as a potential agent to take the next step for obesity treatment.
And the early numbers are really hard to ignore. In phase 2 trials, like the average weight loss reached about 24% over 48 weeks, which is pretty insane, honestly.
It is. And, longer duration studies shown even more weight loss. But it is important that, again, these studies are still underway. These are still phase 3 clinical trials, still ongoing. This is an important part because they're getting them into larger populations, and it's letting them see if there are some major concerns and if things need to be tweaked.
Exactly. These medications, they seem promising, but they're not approved. Every participant in these trials are monitored closely. They have dosing protocols. They do lab work. They check in for adverse events. There's a lot of medical oversight for these patients.
Though we do get calls for that at the compounding pharmacy asking, we can get retatrutide. It's not an FDA drug yet, so we can get it, we can purchase it, but we won't compound it. Everyone wants the hype drug.
Yeah, the hype is really building up on this medication, but I just want to first tell you a little about this little community that I've been kind of following, lurking in the shadows and learning a little bit about them and how they was actually able to obtain this medication. But this group of people, like I said, small group of people I saw on Twitter. So it's not a massive audience, but they're highly motivated. They want to be healthy, look their best, live as long as they can. They spend tons of hours just browsing YouTube. Just, these the do your own research people when they actually do their research. So they actually find stuff that may work pretty good.
They're not necessarily ignoring the risks. I think they're conscious of it, they're accepting it, and they're deciding it's potentially worth the risk because of the big payout and benefit.
Yeah, and that distinction matters. They're not ignoring it, they're accepting it. But here, there's a clear line that we need to draw, right? Understanding the risk does not remove the risk, right? So even expert level knowledge, it doesn't replace regulated manufactured drugs. It doesn't replace, verified purity that is created and compounded in a proper location. It doesn't verify that it's a sterile product that you're getting, and then you don't also have the medical supervision. So this is where things start to break down. How are they buying these medications? So a lot of people they're basically just looking online for retatrutide. They're using for research only, not for human consumption. They're finding these little tags and they're going to these basically research websites where they dispense the drug for research protocols and for big pharma's doing research. They get their medication from other people. They have some places that make the medication and sell it to big pharma, right? So they've located and pinpointed a couple of these medication distributors for investigational medications, and somehow they're able to still buy it. When these products arrive, it's just a plain, cardboard box. It has a vial with just powder in there. They have a vial with, your bacteriostatic water or sterile water. There's no manufacturer name. Sometimes, depending on where you get it from, who knows if it's real or not. But no manufacturer name, no lot number, no expiration number, no, hardcore documentation for it. Can't really verify what's inside. But they're just trusting these locations and trusting these people who did the research, and they're just getting these medications and taking them.
It's like, send me 0.5 of Bitcoin and I will send you a box of drugs. Sounds legit.
Oh, use case for Bitcoin to buy investigational drugs.
Off the dark web.
Who knows if these people are getting the medication and it's how it's supposed to be when they get it, right? It's in the correct form or state it needs to be when it arrives. So this leads us to our kind of core issue with this. It doesn't have anything to do with their intelligence, right? They know what they're injecting. It's a legitimate product they should be getting it from a tightly controlled sterile facility. But a lot of times these black market items that they're buying it from, right, are maybe underdosed, contaminated, mislabeled, or they could not even be the product they claim. Some people may know the right place to get it, and some people may accidentally, get it from the wrong source, and that's a risk for them as well. But independent testing of these peptides, they can sometimes have bacterial contamination, endotoxins, heavy metals. Who knows what's in those products sometimes.
Speaking to some board inspectors, some of the things that they've seen are just, a completely different ingredient. It's not the peptide. They put some upper in there. It's like, I feel great. this is really working. It's like, well, yeah, it's some sort of illicit drug or something that's just making you feel good. Sure, yeah, no problem. But it's not the peptide that you're looking for.
Right. So at this point, they're just playing with their lives, right? You're running a controlled experiment on yourself, and you don't want to be a clinical trial. A lot of people don't even sign up for clinical trials when they're monitored. So you're gonna do a clinical trial on yourself. This is not safe for you. There's no good reporting system, and there's no backup plan if things go wrong. I mean, even in regular clinical trials, you're under supervision, but the medications still have real side effects. So in the phase 2 clinical trials for retatrutide, there was over 40% of the cases the patients had nausea, 30% they had diarrhea, vomiting was also common. Some doses, it was too high, can increase your heart rate. That can be bad if you have cardiac issues. The medications, some people felt like abnormal nerve sensations. So a lot of side effects that we do know about the drug, but I mean, we've only been studying for a little while. There could be some, that we don't know about as well.
Yeah, I mean, every drug has its own price, side effect. And in the study too, some participants actually had to drop out because they couldn't tolerate the side effect of the drug.
Which is common. And now we see removing labs that are done, monitoring from professionals, hydration, electrolytes, just that support. And that risk just keeps going up for individuals.
When something goes wrong at home, you're going to react to it. You can't really prevent the stuff from happening. The experts know how to help prevent some of these side effects. You're just going to react and freak out and end up in the hospital. So, Robbie, why do these super smart people who are self-educated and taking these risks, why are they still doing this? Why are they buying this black market drug?
I think it's because, obesity is like a real issue, right? And I think everybody wants to look their best and feel their best. And if you find out there's a solution to your problem, you're going to go seek it, right? Obesity comes with so many things like pain, knee pain, back pain, harder to get around, sleep apnea, risk for diabetes, heart attack. It's literally a risk for like every disease possible. Like whenever you see a disease and you look at the risk, it's always obesity, obesity, obesity. And if you're an intelligent person, you identify that like, hey, being obese can make me have all this. It's like, and you see this drug where it can help you. It's like, yeah, why would you not want that drug as an intelligent person?
And access is limited to it in some cases. Approved meds are expensive. The pens right now for your Ozempic, your Mounjaro, they're $1,200, $1,400 if your insurance isn't covering them, and so that can be tough for people.
So these things and these wants, right, that can cause a desperation, right, to find these things. And if you have the knowledge to actually go deep and understand it, that leads you to the black market, right? And you're buying these products. The sellers are making money off you, but the buyers are assuming all the risk, right? So even if you understand what's going on, risk is still risk. So here's my takeaway. No judgment at all. Retatrutide seems like a promising drug, but it's still under investigation, right? It's an investigational drug. Black market peptides are dangerous, regardless of how smart you think you are. Research use only is not a loophole to obtain the drug. Medicine works best when curiosity is paired with regulation. Retatrutide could be, a life-changing future medication for obesity. Could be the one that works best for you. But bypassing the system doesn't make you early, it makes you vulnerable. Clinical trials, FDA review, medical supervision, all these smart people working to make sure that you are safe and protected. I mean, you guys were mad about the COVID vaccine being rushed, so now you're rushing and taking this drug. You're like, come on, So let them finish doing the research, so we can have a little bit of data on what some of the long-term side effects may be.
If you know someone experimenting with this drug or other peptides, hey, share this episode with them. I think they would do them some good.
Make sure, as always, you're asking questions, you're staying skeptical, and we recommend choose the safe route over speed.
Thanks for listening, you guys. Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay safe. Be sure to follow us on all socials, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Like our videos, share it with a friend. And until next time, this is Xavier. I'm signing out.
Peace.
Rated RX, you do